division is transferred to the sister division and there are no external customers for the goods. That means when you are completely transferring of your one unit to the other place and then there are no any possibilities of the customers to buy that unit. So these are the possibilities for calculating this particular method, incremental pricing method. The incremental cost is computed in such a manner as to include all variable cost and any fixed cost is directly attributable to the transfer prices or internal transfer. So when you are actually having some calculations, the internal transfers also would be very much helpful. So this is all about the methods of a transfer pricing. Now next topic is residual income. Residual income is all about the difference between the actual income earned by the organization or division and the desired income has been designed by the investment center. Here an alternative measure for financial performance in an investment center is a residual income. So that means it's a part of an optional system and optional method for investment center how the residual income has been designed to eliminate the problems associated with the using a ratio as a performance measure. Many companies use the residual income approach. So ratio is always helpful to improve your performance and as well as improvisation of your work. But there are many companies who are actually trying to observe this residual income approach also. As I already mentioned, it's purely a difference between actual income earned by a division on an investment and desired income on the investment as specified by minimum desired rate of return. It is the amount that remains after deducting an implied interest charge from operating income. So whatever the interest has been charged and whatever the part of deductions, that all the deductions has been done from the operating income. The implied interest charge reflects an opportunity cost. It is calculated as per the respected formula. The formula is residual income is equal to actual income minus desired income. So at the time of calculation of desired income, you need to identify the opportunity cost also. So maximum desired rate of return on your investments would be deducted from the actual income. You would be identified your residual income. The basis of the interest charge is the amount of assets in each investment center. Residual income approach has some merits. The principal advantage is that encourages capital investments any time of divisional manager earns more than the required rate. That means if it is increasing than the actual standard income and the rate is higher than the standard income, the amount of capital investments are definitely encouraged by the organization or a firm. In effect, residual income is the excess of earnings above the minimum desired earnings. It is also a reflection, as I already mentioned, that the total amount of capacity of earnings would be higher, or maybe the amount of incomes would be higher than the actual standard. If the firm sets its minimum rate of return at its cost of capital, so the cost of capital is maybe whatever it is, but your rate of return would be little higher or maybe a reasonable higher than the cost of capital, it must earn a return on investment that is at least equal to the cost of funds used in making the investment. So if your cost of capital is equal to the amount of rate of return, that is also a benefited for applying this approach. If the firm sets its minimum rate of return at its cost of capital, it must earn a return on investment that is at least equal to the cost of funds used in making the investments. Residual income as a performance measure overcomes some of the shortcomings of a return on investment analysis also. but it is not a perfect measure. It has certain limitations also. Most of the problems in measuring the divisional income and divisional investment base are also present in the measurement of a residual income. So residual income is all about a good approach for the organization, but simultaneously they need to understand the limitations also as compared the return on investment analysis. That's all about for this chapter, responsibility accounting.